YouTube? We're checking out a Rotten Mango video today. I've actually I've technically listened to a few of Rotten Mango's podcasts before. And I friggin' love them. The one that I actually ended up watching, like, the visual version of was with my mom. Her and I watched the one she covered on, like, the Indian doctor case. And that just was totally horrific to watch and, like, listen to. But she had such an informed side of things, including, like, connecting with a lot of the social media aspects. And I really, really love the way her and her team work on cases. For that reason, we're checking this out today. This is my first time ever doing a Rotten Mango reaction here on the channel. This is a super long video, but with that includes me talking a lot as well. And it's going to be an unbearably long video for those of you who don't like long videos. And maybe it'll be the perfect thing you need for those of you guys who are like, I want to lay in bed and do nothing and listen to Alicia talk for way too many hours, as well as Stephanie Sue, which is the name of this creator. Like, subscribe, check out the original video linked in the description below, because her and her team deserve the most love and support in the fucking world for what they do. And it's just a privilege to be able to watch this and to be able to talk about it as well. And this topic in particular is something I'm very passionate about. I spent maybe the past 10 minutes on stream yelling about the situation and then realized that we could just cover it through this. So I might have takes that you don't agree with. And I want to say very clearly, if you don't agree with something that I say, that's fine. I'm not here to shit on you as a person. Don't be here to shit on me as a person. We can kind of go our different paths because morality is subjective, right? And I guess that's pretty much it, right? Morality is subjective. So, like, whatever you find is, like, acceptable versus unacceptable is up to you. And you think about, like, a mean-ass bitch, then I might be a mean-ass bitch to you, and that's fine, because we have different morals and different, you know, levels of what we find okay and not okay. So, let's get into it.
Bada bing, bada boo.
The man is wearing an olive green jacket with big pockets in the front. Most of his face is covered with a mask, and he's carrying this big old backpack because today is the day. He's walking through New York City, glancing from side to side, making sure that nobody is staring at him strangely, because the last thing that he needs right now in this moment is to be stopped, questioned, or even have any sort of long-standing interaction with any New Yorker. Probably the worst case scenario would be an interaction with the NYPD. But he's not even trying to think about that, because is that woman over there staring at him right now? It's fine. It's fine. The man is on a mission. He needs to get to the destination, and everything else can be figured out once he gets there. He walks straight into the park in broad.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused, because didn't Luigi ride one of the rental bikes, like the e-bikes? He ate the rent-a-service bikes, Central Park, to drop off his backpack?
Daylight. There's a group of girls in matching outfits wearing these plaid skirts, dancing to the K-pop group Twice's song, Heart Shaker. Really good song, by the way. They're filming a K-pop cover. A man walking through the park stares at him. He says, "Bro, I don't know if you should be doing this, but your life choice, I guess." What is that supposed to mean? Another citizen stops and points. "He's the one! He's the one!" And with that, the man in the green jacket, he starts smiling, because that means he just won $50. He is contestant number 6 in the lookalike contest.
That makes way more sense. I was like, oh, it's a lookalike contest for Luigi. Got it. I was like, he rode it on a bike. What the fuck do they mean walking? Walking? And I was like, I literally was sitting here just confused and It's a lookalike contest for holy shit. Oh my, dude, wait, that's insane.
For the shooter that killed Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. The man in the hood, the winner, he says, "You know, it's so funny. I got no looks while I was coming from home to the park. No looks until I got over here. And now everybody wants a picture with me."
What does that mean? No looks.
I got no looks until I came over here.
Nobody looked at him strangely, even though he matches the exact profile of a killer that's quote unquote on the run.
Oh.
How is it that a man is shot and killed in the middle of Manhattan in broad daylight? He hasn't even been laid to rest yet. The shooter has yet to be caught. Technically, a killer is on the loose, and yet there is a lookalike contest for the killer? I mean,
Okay, so again, this is a video that is going to be filled with a lot of controversial opinions from Alicia. But remember, morality is subjective. All right? And you might not agree with what I say, and that's okay. Right? We can differ on it. I think this is based as fuck. This sounds based as fuck. Yeah! $50? I'll take it. Oh shit. Listen. If this was for like a killer who killed somebody who like Alicia gonna get even more topical, but you know, it's true. I mean, fuck it. I'll have my little conversation spout right now so you know where I stand on the whole thing. All right. I'm somebody who I talked about this like 10 minutes ago on stream. So for a lot of you guys here in chat, it's gonna be like a recap for you, right? But I'm Canadian, but I have a lot of friends who are American. And one of my friends have been directly affected by this cunt who took over as CEO of the insurance side. And my friend couldn't breathe and went to the hospital and got charged, and insurance didn't fucking cover it because he wasn't fully dying. My friend's medical bill, he could not afford to pay. So I paid it. Because there's no fucking way I'm going to let someone suffer like that over some medical bullshit. Especially myself personally, you guys know, right? Is I'm battling cancer. Medical bullshit is something that I have to deal with a lot. And it'll be a cold day in hell where I'll let one of my friends die financially because they were almost dying physically. Would they rather have my friend die from not breathing? Would they rather have him suffocated on the floor for them to cover it? What the fuck is the mentality there? And I'm so fucking mad. I can feel it. Like, I feel it seeping. That's how mad I am. Because think about how many people experience that who don't have a friend like myself, right? I'm not here to like stroke my own dick about it, but it's true, right? I happen to have savings that I could tap into to help my friend. And we're lucky to be in that situation. There's a lot of people who don't fucking have that, you know? And that, don't cry, bitch. It's too early. We got like 2 hours to go. But I can't even imagine the devastation some of those families feel. Because think about it. The whole idea is that they like expect you to know when you go into the fucking clinic, when you go into the hospital, to know if you're literally dying or not. We don't have the medical education to know what's the difference between being on the line or crossing over the line of death. All we know is that that motherfucker couldn't breathe. And that is so heartbreaking. So, me as a person, as an individual, because of the way I got connected to like having that incident happen to my friend, having this one fucker die doesn't mean anything to me because he almost had my friend die from the choices he made in his position. Does that make sense? Maybe you won't agree with it because you're like, the loss of human life is bad, and the loss of human life, it can be bad. I'm not going to disagree with you, right? I'm not going to disagree with you. I think that if you have a different moral subjectivity to this and you think, dude getting shot in the street's fucked up, I'm never going to cheer for that. That's fine. You're allowed to have that. Myself as a person, right? Just make it very clear, is that if he was willing to let people die in a legal way, why the fuck would I care about him dying in an illegal way? And that's where I stand, right? It's a harsh thing. It's a crazy thing to say. I get it. A lot of you won't agree with me, and that's okay, right? I'm not here to even judge you, being like, why do you think that way? Fuck you. No, I will respect your decision, and I hope you respect mine as well, right? Because at the end of the day, morals are subjective, right? And with that in mind, there's going to be a lot of people in this comment section who've probably gone through something or had a family member go through something medically. And just like make sure to have some empathy towards those people because they're the real, in my opinion, the real fucking victims are the people who've been affected by this bullshit when it comes to insurance claims, when it comes to medical debt now. You know how insane medical debt is in the States? I didn't realize like how much shit people were going through until I dealt with my friend's situation. And like I knew about some of the other cases because I had some other like family members and friends. One of them in particular had cancer who couldn't afford some more of his treatment because he maxed out how much his insurance would cover, right? And my dad stepped in to help him. Like we've been in that scenario before, right? But it's like, holy fuck, right? There's just zero compassion for a human life when they're just a name on a piece of paper. But when they die on a street, they matter more to you. And that's what it comes down to. Because think about all the people who died because they just couldn't fucking afford to pay for them to live. And that's where I stand. So again, really heated. I'm going to be sassy. I'm going to have a lot of attitude. I'm going to say some shit that might be kind of fucked up here and there. But that is where I stand. And if you aren't comfortable with that, I understand you can click off the video because you probably won't like my vibe for the rest of it. But I need you to know where I am when I'm talking about this. Because that way, if you're on board with me, sis, let's go. And if you're not on board with me and you want to hear, like, understand why through the process of this, that's cool too. You know, but just know where I'm coming from. All right.
I mean, what could you have done so horribly in life that in death, people are holding look-alike contests for the killer while the killer is still on the loose? There is a literal CCTV video of somebody shooting and killing the CEO of United Healthcare. But most Americans are questioning, who really is the real victim here? Is it the one that was shot and killed? Or is it the shooter himself?
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, Stephanie.
I have a secret that I want to share with you. Okay, it's not really a secret, but I think more of you guys should know. I want to let you guys know that you can catch this podcast not only here on YouTube, but also on Spotify. And while the show will be the same in both places, there are a few things that I love about Spotify. First of all, was the recent Spotify Wrapped. You guys have been sending me DMs and screenshots of Rotten Mango and Mott's being at the top
I'm letting
of your
the ad
podcast
play.
charts. And
Letting her ad
really
play. She deserves to plug herself if we're going to react to her video.
Spotify is
Just
really
saying.
the best platform to listen to our shows, both audio and video.
I also
Another
do
one of my
follow her on
favorite things
Spotify.
Is being able to seamlessly switch between watching the video or just listening to the audio. So you can enjoy the show on the couch or on the go without missing a single beat. Also, on the creator side, Spotify has been able to give me a lot of insights into what you guys like and what you guys don't like. So it's been helping me figure out what resonates
Where's her
with you.
podcast rated on Spotify? Do you know what ranking she's in?
I hope you love. And I can't wait to hear what you
Anyone
think
know?
about the Spotify experience. Let me know in the comments if you've checked it out. And I can't wait to see your Spotify Wrap for 2025. You got to start now. We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the PAN Foundation, which works to remove barriers to medical treatment. They also champion
Love
policies
that.
that expand access to care. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team. And we would also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates.
Great.
As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. A few big disclaimers for today's case. This case is currently ongoing. There's new developments every single day. If there are any major developments, which is to be expected, we're going to add them in the pinned comments below or perhaps even make a follow-up video.
plays 10 in the United
But
States.
most of what we
Amazing.
could find is available publicly online, which includes netizen comments, theories, netizens' own personal experiences with healthcare in the US. And legally speaking, I am not here, nor would I ever be able to verify if each and every netizen's personal anecdote is factually correct. We trust you guys to come to your own judgments and opinions like you do with...
It's okay. I'm mad judgy, Stephanie. Don't worry. I judge a lot. I am a judgmental ass hoe. Don't worry.
in all cases that we bring you. And we tried to gather all the sentiments on the internet as well as legacy media included so you can see the full picture of what's going on. This is not supposed to be a think piece. We're not trying to sway you one way or the other. And obviously, I think you guys are smart enough to make your own informed decisions on how you feel about something. However, it would be silly to not recognize the healthcare system to everyday Americans is personally, in my opinion, a torture system. And I think to not even address that would be kind of goofy. Additionally, just because somebody has been arrested does not mean that they are guilty of a crime. Everybody has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. And one last disclaimer. For the sake of brevity, we will be referring to United Healthcare as United, but please note that there is no relation to United Airlines, which is what commonly referred to as United. Additionally,
hold on. Has United stock price gone down for United Airlines? Has anyone checked? The same thing happened for when coronavirus came out. Corona, the fucking drinks stock price went down, by the way. Just saying. So it could, just because they might go down, even though they're not involved. I went up? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that shit was insane. It was insane back then.
United Healthcare is just one arm of a massive company called United Health Group. So when we refer to Brian Thompson as the CEO of United Healthcare or United, he's actually the CEO of just United Healthcare. There are other CEOs involved. There's a ton of different subsidiaries that United Health Group owns. And then there's a CEO that is the CEO of United Health Group, the whole organizational structure. So I know that some people on Twitter were getting a little bit confused because they're like, wait, I saw different names as the CEO of United Health Group, but this is United Healthcare's CEO. So this is the insurance arm. This is where people feel, I guess, more emotional about the case. But we will get into the nitty gritty of the United Health Group in a second. So with that being said, let's get into it. Goodreads is kind of like the Yelp for books.
Tee up 1 second. I'm going to say some thank yous real quick before we continue on. Kaze, thanks for the 200 bits, much appreciated. Objectively, they would rather let your friend die and never cover him because it's pure profit for the company. Yeah, you know what? It's fucking true. Bro, thanks for the Prime. Welcome. Appreciate it. Keeper, thanks for the 15-month resub. Welcome back. Edikim, thanks so much for the 1 year. Welcome back as well. Fire King with the 75 schmuckaroonies. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like to see you live. Greetings from YouTube. Thanks for watching the YouTube. Appreciate that. Kaze, thanks for the gifted sub. Okay, gifting a sub to Luigi's crazy. All right. Psycho. Kaze, thanks for the tier 1 sub. And Hell Knight, thanks for the tier 1 sub as well. Okay.
You go on there and you rate and review books that you've read, but it's also a great place to stalk someone. And I don't condone this, but you would be surprised at how much someone could gather from the types of books you read. For example, someone can see how often you read, how well read you are, what kind of genre of books you read, but those are very obvious. You can even tell if someone is more lenient and likely to give high ratings. Maybe they're generous versus someone who never gives a high rating and just has a plethora of 2-star reviews. If the Goodreads account holder leaves reviews, you can even see how they feel about certain topics, what kind of things that they pick out from a 900-page book. Some people will even take it a step further, trying to figure out someone's most favorited books, their highest rated books, and see what that says about you. Some popular book analysis on TikTok include, which are all jokes, don't get offended. If your fantasy book choice is Cruel Prince, you're a furry. I said it. If your favorite book is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, one TikToker states, you think reading classics and drinking red wine and smoking cigarettes makes you all mysterious and so intelligent, but it just kind of makes you annoying. If your favorite is A Little Life, you are mentally ill.
What?
It's a really sad book.
I'm sorry. The way she's saying it, she literally had to be like, don't get offended. And then start spitting. Damn, bitch. Oh.
You're torturing yourself if you read it. Apparently, it's devastating. Now, the past few days, a Goodreads account has gone viral, which doesn't really happen. I mean, usually you have people's social media accounts going viral, but this is like someone's Yelp page going viral. But everyone on the internet is trying to decipher, crack the code to what does this mean? What does this man's Goodreads account mean? The viral account shows the man has 295 books read, logged on Goodreads, and is currently reading The Book Thief, a historical fiction about Nazi Germany during World War II. Omnivore's Diet by Michael Pollan, which is about the ethical implications of our food choices.
Yeah.
And How to
I
Change
do
Your
know that one.
Brain by Michael Pollan, which is a very intense book about how psychedelics could be used to treat mental health conditions.
Well, guess I gotta go get high, baby. I make a lot of weed jokes, a lot of high jokes. I actually don't get high often. I think I get high maybe like once every 3 months. With edibles that are like legally bought because I live in Canada. I make a lot of high jokes though. I really don't do it often. Anyways.
It's a very interesting combination of reads. In his favorite section, you have The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, which is...
Oh, shit! You know what? He read the Lorax? Yeah, he was ready to kill CEOs for the trees, motherfucker. He was ready. He said, fuck them corporate ass motherfuckers. Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
not just a children's book, but it's a critique of environmental practices as well as a critique of the timber industry. And it's actually a pretty anti-capitalist critique.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's what I'm saying.
Their favorites include The Bullet Journal by Ryder Carroll and What's Our Problem by Tim Urban. Aside
Didn't
from
they make a Lorax movie? I know there's a Cat in the Hat movie. I don't know what was it got there.
his favorite, it's clear that this man is interested in Hawaii. He's reviewed 2 travel guidebooks for Hawaii. There's self-help books thrown into the mix, as well as fitness books. A mixture of tech-related reads are on there, such as Algorithm Design, which he rated 4.16 stars.
That's a very specific one.
The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss is there. And this one is interesting because he actually leaves a little personal snippet in the review. He writes, I'm reminded of a long-standing debate at my childhood dinner table. Whenever we would eat steak, I would use my knife in my left hand and my fork in my right hand, which would infuriate my mother. She would remind me to cut with my right hand since I was right-handed and switch back and forth my right hand for each bite.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's proper etiquette, by the way. That's proper etiquette. That's how you're supposed to do it. Most people don't know that, though, because it's not really commonplace. Like, the more that we go away from more traditional, like, styles of eating. Wait, why? I mean, it's just proper I mean, there's, like, a lot of things about proper etiquette that's very different. That you won't be like you used to, right? So, like... it's dumb. Well, it's kind of like the same thing as, like, you know how, like, there's an excessive cutlery when you, like, eat, like, multi-course meals, things like that. Like, there's, like, different ways to go about everything. Like, there's a certain hand you're supposed to drink with. Swapping between hands is not supposed to be allowed at the table. Things like that. Like, learning proper etiquette's, like, a huge thing. I mean, the only reason why I know proper etiquette is because my dad. And, like, okay, super side tangent. So my dad... I never told you guys my dad's lore. I'm not gonna get super into it today because it's fucking long. But my dad is like, how much am I willing to like say without going super into detail, without making you guys go, what the fuck? Tell me more. My dad's intellect level is higher than the average person's because his brain is larger than the average person. Literally. So when they had to do a cesarean section on my grandma, they had to literally use clamps because they were choosing to remove him and save her life back in the day. And he lived. Now, with this, he already told us about his big brain to do big surgery. He's not a surgeon. My dad's not a surgeon. What? No, my dad's a psychologist. So my dad, like, throughout his life, like, skipped grades, excelled academically, was just like a level of gifted that like is like once in a generation type gifted, right? And because of that, though he was like an immigrant, right? Though he should have had a lot of things that held him back in life, my grandpa literally told him, no matter what you face or what injustices you face, no one can take your education away from you. So my dad's literally built different. And with that came him hitting a class of elites because of his education. That was very, like, above all else. So my dad is friends with people who've won Nobel Prizes, which means that when I meet some of his friends, they're fancy ass motherfuckers. And when you eat with a fancy ass motherfucker, you gotta learn how to use utensils properly. Because I don't know shit. So that's why we learned at a young age. But when you're like at home and shit, you never do that. No one gives a fuck. You cut your shit with your fork. Who cares, right? But you learned that because of that. It wasn't really because my family had old money. It wasn't really because my family even had money at all. It was because my dad is so well educated that his friends are all extremely affluent because they're from also higher levels of education. And two of his friends, like two of his really close friends actually, are both professors at Cambridge, right? And that's how like a lot of like my understanding for the world came from, and being to access a lot of information was via them as well. So yeah. Just pretty cool. There's like a lot to my dad's lore that's like super fucking cool. Yeah. My dad is my dad's actually just a marvel. Like people go like, Alicia, your life is crazy, but like when you look at my dad's life, my life is not shit compared to his. He is like way beyond me. Like way beyond. Yeah. Anyway. So I got to rub elbows with a lot of really smart people throughout my life, a lot of really talented people throughout my life. And when doing so, I had to learn etiquette.
When pressed for a reason why, she would reply, because that's how it's done. That's
Yeah.
how you cut it.
Yeah.
Dissatisfied, I would press further. She would reply, because that's proper manners. As a 6-year-old, I found this to be the most pointless and inefficient process in the world.
It is.
And I would voice this opinion. Why would I switch hands every single bite to maintain some arbitrary convention? The final reply was, one day you're going to meet a nice girl, and when you go out to dinner with her, you're going to need proper manners. My response then, and still a fundamental belief to this day,
I'm gonna be real with you. If I was on a date with a girl and she judged me for not swapping hands while cutting, there's no way I can rip ass in front of her. All right? That is not good marriage material. All right? If you can't handle me holding my cutlery a certain way, there's no shot our relationship gonna last. Because listen, gas happens. And if I gotta rip ass, I gotta rip ass. We are not long term. That's the reality. That's the reality. Those motherfuckers who pretend they don't, right? Who like try to hide it, right? Or hold it in. That's unhealthy. Don't hold it in. You gotta let out what you gotta let out.
is that anyone who cares about something so small and insignificant is maybe not someone I would want to spend my time with.
True.
This is common under 4-hour work week.
By Tim Ferriss. The Goodreads account also goes on to like 2 quotes, because you can like quotes from books. One reads, science fiction is already happening to some extent in our own society. Instead of removing the conditions that make people depressed, modern society gives them antidepressant drugs.
Sorry, one person in chat mentioned my fiance ripping ass. You can go to my Konosuba reaction, and there's one part, I forget which episode it was, where you hear him just rip ass in the background, and it picks up through my microphone. And I fucking died. I'm like, is that loud? He wasn't even next to me. He was so far away. Like, I did not let him have a protein shake the next day. I was so mad. I was not actually mad. I was like joking mad. I was like, you do not get to have protein farts, okay? Not while I'm recording. Now! The shit reverberated. I don't remember which episode it is, but it happened. I think it happened twice. The first time I ignored it, pretended nothing happened. Second time I called it out. I was like, I give up.
Drugs. In effect, antidepressants are a means of modifying an individual's internal state in such a way as to enable him to tolerate social conditions that he would otherwise find intolerable. Imagine a society that subjects people to conditions that makes them terribly unhappy, then gives them the drugs to take away their unhappiness. This quote is from the book Industrial Society and Its Future.
I don't
For
agree with that.
The full book, the Goodreads account leaves a lengthy review that becomes very pertinent. It reads, Clearly written by a mathematics protege, reads like a series of lemmas on the questions of 21st century quality of life. It's easy to quickly and thoughtlessly write this off as a manifesto of a lunatic in order to avoid facing some of the uncomfortable problems it identifies. But it's simply impossible to ignore how prescient many of his predictions about modern society turned out. He was a violent criminal, rightfully imprisoned, who maimed innocent people. All these actions tend to be characterized as those of a crazy Luddite. However, they are more accurately seen as those of an extreme political revolutionary.
Whoa!
A take I found interesting online is this. So then he quotes a netizen comment he read online. He had the balls to recognize that peaceful protest has gotten us absolutely nowhere. And at the end of the day, he's probably right. Oil barons haven't listened to any environmentalist, but they feared him. When all other forms of communication fail, violence is necessary to survive.
Oh my fuck, this motherfucker wrote this on Goodreads. He wrote this on a book review at Goodreads. Holy shit. You know what? I was telling my dad about Luigi. I did not know this about his Bookreads account though. I told my dad the other day, actually, I think it was yesterday, where I was like, yeah, do you know about the shooting of the CEO? Because no, can you let me know about it? So I kind of gave him the whole rundown of everything. And he's like, and people are happy about that. I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay. And I'm like, do you know why? And he goes, why? I'm like, because look at him. I showed him a picture. I go, conventionally attractive, wealthy family, not an incel, not someone who's fucking psychotic, nothing that they can pin it on. He's the ideal person to do this because you can't blame it on other fucking factors, right? That's what makes him the perfect person to have done this. Just saying, right? Think about it. Think about how the media would have turned this. The media is still trying to turn this, right? They're trying to make him seem fucking insane, right? And they're bringing up his fucking Pokemon. They're grasping at straws for him, right? Because look at what they do every time there's some sort of thing that happens. They try to pin it on some sort of thing to make the person seem like a fucking insane lunatic. But this time they didn't, because they can't. And they're trying. They are trying. Mario's brother. Shut up, Coma. Thanks for the resub.
You may not like his methods, but to see things from his perspective, it's not terrorism, it's war and revolution. Fossil fuel companies suppress anything that stand within their way, and within a generation or two, it will begin costing human lives by greater and greater magnitudes until the Earth is just a flaming ball orbiting third from the sun. Peaceful protest is outright ignored. Economic protest isn't possible in the current system. So how long until we recognize that violence against those who lead us to such destruction is justified as self-defense? Those companies don't care about you or your kids or your grandkids. They have zero qualms about burning down the planet for a buck. So why should we have any qualms about burning them down to survive? We're animals, just like everything else on this planet, except we've forgotten the law of the jungle and bend over backwards for our overlords when any other animal would recognize the threat and fight to the death for their survival. Violence never solved anything is a statement uttered by cowards and predators. The Goodreads account rates this book for—
Holy shit! Oh my god! Motherfuckers radicalizing me! I'm kidding. Jesus Christ.
stars. This book is written by the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. He killed 3 people and—
I'm sorry, what'd you say? This book was rated 4 stars?
By the
written by. Oh,
he killed 3 people.
Okay, sorry, different book. The next book number 4. That's book number 3. Book number 4 that he rated was by Ted Kaczynski. Okay, sorry, next book.
Injured 23 others. He was academically successful, at least at one point in his life. He attended Harvard as a mathematics prodigy and became, I believe, the youngest assistant professor in the history of UC Berkeley. Eventually, he quit everything to live a primitive lifestyle in a cabin in the woods, which would have been fine, but he's very anti-tech, anti-industrialism, anti-capitalist, which again would be ideologies to be talked about. But then he started making bombs and sending them out, which is the only way that the Unabomber believed he could draw attention to his manifesto and ideas. So why is this Goodreads review going viral? Because perhaps that's what the account holder was inspired by. Trade in a violent crime for everyone else to know his message? I mean, it's too soon to say for sure, but this is the Goodreads account of the arrested suspect for the killing of Brian Thompson, United Healthcare CEO. And I guess netizens are wondering, is this what he was trying to tell us? If you wake up in the middle of a surgery, most likely you can
Tee up for 1 second. Is that why he used a gun instead of an explosive of some sort too? Because if you make it so it's only the target intended, they can't even flip the narrative to be that you were trying to like just be sporadic and hurt others. He hurt no one else but the CEO. That is a very interesting, because it's him elevating and upgrading what has been done before him.
not speak. You cannot tell the doctors, hey, so I can hear you drilling and
Yeah,
sawing
he did say he didn't want to hurt anyone else. Yeah, that makes sense then.
into my skull and my body. You can't even twitch. You're practically paralyzed. One person who woke up in the middle of surgery said it was terrible. They said, my brain kept telling me over and over, say your name, say something, do something, wiggle your toes. But I was completely incapable of saying something or moving my body at all. Waking up in the midst of a...
I have been through 6 surgeries. I've never woken up once. When they knock my ass out, I am cooked. I wake up in the in the recovery room. Not even once was I close. When they give me them, I'm out. Dude, they tell you to start counting back and shit, right? Bro, I probably maybe count one number and I'm cooked. I am out so fast. Not even, I cannot relate to that whatsoever. I am out when I'm out.
surgery can actually be so traumatic, depending on the surgery, that sometimes doctors will even recommend therapy, mental help, to get rid of those PTSD memories. It's that bad. In surgery, anesthesia, going under, timing is everything. I mean, timing is everything in that. And the same goes for public relations, PR. Blue Cross Blue Shield, a health insurance company in the United States, announces that they will be making changes moving forward. Let's say a very specific, life-saving, life-altering surgery lasts about 2 hours on average. But sometimes, because every condition is different, there's going to be variations in surgery time. If a customer's surgery lasts longer than 2 hours, Blue Cross Blue Shield will not cover the extra time under anesthesia.
It's the most ridiculous.
When they release this change in policy, netizens on TikTok start asking Blue Cross Blue Shield, do you know you have 30 minutes? That's what TikTokers...
Yes! Yes! TikTokers! Eat!
They write, LMAO, in this climate, somebody already ate the rich, and now the world is waiting to see if any one of us is still hungry. Within 24 hours, the representative for Blue Cross Blue Shield states, there has been significant widespread misinformation about an update to our anesthesia policy.
Okay,
As a result, we have decided not to proceed with the policy change. To be clear, it never was and never will be the policy of Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield to not pay for medically necessary anesthesia services. The proposed update to the policy was only designed to clarify the appropriateness of anesthesia consistent with well-established clinical guidelines.
What?
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. No. Like, I can't even. Like, one, yeah, fear is powerful, but fuck that entire sentiment of being like, oh, no, it's miscommunication. Like, fuck. People's lives don't fucking matter. Because, listen to this most important part about this. If your surgery takes longer than 2.5 hours, right? If your surgery takes hours, whatever surgery you get is so major, they need that much fucking time. Whatever you have is so extensive that they need to keep operating on you for longer. And that's when you want to charge people more? Like, that is the most backwards, fucked up logic I have ever heard. Oh, but the cost efficiency, you know, of course, because lives don't fucking matter. Alicia has a lot of issues when it comes to the health system.
They say we were trying to help you.
Oh,
They say we realized, based on the feedback, that our communication about the policy was unclear, which is why we're rolling it back. But is that really why? Or is it because the CEO of United Healthcare was just killed in broad daylight?
Yeah!
Brian Thompson is on his way to the annual United Health Group investors meeting. It's going to be at the Hilton Midtown Hotel in Manhattan, which is not where he's staying. For whatever purpose, perhaps safety. He's staying at the Marriott down the block. Then he's going to walk to the Hilton, which is just a few blocks away, to get ready to more or less tell the investors how much money they're going to be making this year. I mean, just for transparency purposes, it's probably a really good day for Brian Thompson.
Hi, I'm Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, and welcome. Our mission and values are focused on helping people live healthier lives and making the health system work better for everyone. I hope.
You're a liar! I'm sorry. I'm so mad. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. I'm sorry. I can't. It's gonna be screaming for the next 2 hours. I can't. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
How we view consumerism within United Healthcare.
He's what's called a heavyweight in the industry. Under his leadership, United Healthcare acquired over 1 million customers in 2023. Total revenue grew by 14.6%, and net profit margins were 6% for 2023.
Do you know how much money that is? 6%? For net profit margins! Oh, to you who don't understand why that's such a big number. You're like 6% out of 100%. How is that? When you're dealing with just hundreds of millions of dollars, that's 6%. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
2023, probably better for 2024, which I see some people arguing about that 6% profit margins. They're not the best profit margins in across the board industry, capitalistic societies, but you're talking about a behemoth like United Healthcare. Their total revenue in 2023 was $271.6 billion.
Ah! Okay.
6%? 6% of that is $22.6 billion.
That is crazy.
They are number 8 in global companies for revenue. Globally, number 4 in the United States. They're above Alphabet. They're above Google. It's been said that under Brian...
Oh. Think he's the one who made it go that much higher. It was already fucked. He made changes that made it even more of a discrepancy. Think about that.
leadership, stock prices roughly doubled, which makes sense because before he was appointed CEO, he had worked in the insurance industry for a really long time, but he has no medical degree. He's a CPA.
Of course. Because I want the fucker who knows accounting to deal with the healthcare system. Okay.
He's also one of the many executives in the healthcare industry that decided to start denying patients' claims and payments for what they, the insurer, believe to be non-critical visits to the ER.
Non-critical, my friend couldn't breathe. Hi! Sorry, I'm good.
AKA, hey you, random person with little or no medical knowledge sitting at home, please make sure that you're actually dying when you go to the ER. Like, be for real. If you only think that you're dying 60%, maybe hold off, because if you don't think that you're gonna die, we're not gonna pay for it. If we think that you could have lived, we're not gonna pay for it. So you're gonna pay for it. And then you're gonna be dying from the medical debt. It got so bad that the chief executive of the American Hospital Association wrote an open letter to Brian Thompson, practically pleading him. Patients are not medical.
Even. Motherfuckers who know more than you are telling you. I can't. Fucking hospitals are telling you this is fucked. You stupid fucking accountant. Holy shit.
An open letter to Brian Thompson.
I'm getting more mad.
Pleading
I'm getting
him.
more mad.
Patients are not medical experts and should not be expected to self-diagnose during what they believe is a medical emergency. Threatening patients with a financial penalty for making the wrong decision could have a chilling effect on seeking emergency care.
Exactly. Because what happens if somebody's like, I am in debt, but my insurance is supposed to cover it if I go to the hospital right now. I think I'm having a heart attack, but I can't tell. Do you know how fucking often heart attacks are not fully checked? Because the person will be like, oh, maybe it's anxiety. Oh, maybe it's blah, blah, blah. Heart attacks are one of the hardest things to know if you're fucking having one or not. And you're that person who is going through a heart attack, who might be like doing something else, thinking that it's something else because they are scared that their bills won't, their insurance won't fucking cover it because they guessed wrong. They shouldn't be penalized for that. God, it's sick because you'd rather them die. You'd rather them die. That's what your decision is, than them get checked.
But that's clearly not the focus of the annual investors meeting that day in Manhattan. The focus is how much money the company is making. 6:45 a.m., Brian Thompson is walking to the Hilton Hotel. He's about to reach the door when a hooded, masked man walks up behind him. First shot in the leg. The second shot goes into his back, and at least 3 shots are fired directly into Brian Thompson at a pretty close range.
Bro is just, he's doing it so smoothly too. He's vibing. Like, he is not coming up here. He is fully steady. Just go for it.
And he drops dead. A few details to note. The gun appears, at least initially, to malfunction, but the suspect is able to clear it calmly.
TOS? No, it's blurred. Yeah, she blurred the hand in the gun and blurred his body as well. So it's not TOS. We're fine.
They are overwhelmingly calm, collected, to the point where some people initially believe that this is a professional job. Brian Thompson is clearly the target, and the end goal is his death. There's no robbery attempt, no attempt to even talk to him. It said the suspect loitered around waiting for Brian to arrive to the Hilton Hotel for perhaps like 5 minutes. There's another person that's standing nearby when the suspect takes out their gun and starts firing. They end up running off. There's no...
Do you know what is amazing about that? As a lot of people would try to kill a witness because they're standing nearby. Luigi had no intention of hurting anyone else, even someone who's witnessing it. He just came there to kill the one fucker. That was it. Right? So what's one of the first things you do? You don't want witnesses. Didn't shoot. Allegedly, Luigi, right? Because, I mean, technically, he's not convicted. So, I mean, it could have been anyone, dog. It doesn't have to be Luigi. You know what I'm saying? It could be anybody. He's not, you know what I'm saying? It could be Uncle Earl down the street. We don't fucking know, right? You know what I'm saying?
attempt to harm that person or anybody else, just Brian Thompson. When the shots are fired, Brian Thompson is down. The suspect then walks into an alleyway before hopping onto a city bike and heading towards Central Park.
I knew
Brian
about this part,
Thompson is rushed to the hospital where he is pronounced dead. In 2023, 386 people were killed in the...
Should he have been rushed into a hospital? Because I don't really know. Was it fatal? Like, I get, like Like, are you sure it was? Can he actually respond? Because we need to make sure his opinion too was that he thinks he's dying, right? Because if he doesn't, like, we don't really know though, right? So, sorry, I don't think we can take you to the hospital. We just don't really know. I have a guy named Jeffrey in this back alley who can probably help you. Like, holy fuck. My thoughts and prayers are out of network. Yeah, he should have waited to see if he was actually on the brick of death. Yeah, see, like... Oh, he died? Oh. Well, it was hard to really tell because he didn't communicate that he was, right? So wasn't... Did we cover that? Well...
City of New York. That is more than one murder per day. As with anyone else and their tragic murders, the show must still go on. The same day, Rockefeller held its highly anticipated annual Christmas tree lighting.
Bro, it's like they lit... I know this is fucked, but it's like they lit the fucking tree for him. They say, yeah.
While the suspect, the shooter, is still on the loose in Manhattan. The NYPD hold this whole press conference to state that, quote, I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared...
So was the ambulance that carried him to the hospital covered? Was that a part of his insurance? Is he sure that hospital is connected to his? Is it in network? Like, who paid for the ambulance? Right? We aren't asking the right questions here.
to wait for the intended target. The NYPD commissioner states, the shooter appeared to be lying in wait for several minutes before approaching the executive from behind and opening fire. NYPD also highlight, is this guy a pro or not? They say, the precision of the shooting, the use of a ghost gun, and the escape on a bicycle suggest that this was not a random act by an amateur. So
oh yeah,
speaking
actually,
of a ghost gun,
I told my dad about this part. This is the part that I explained to him. Was about ghost guns, right? I actually taught him because my sister has a 3D printer, and she got it like years ago. And my dad was like, "Why the hell did she buy a $3,000 3D printer? Like, the stuff she makes from it are these like little knickknacks." And I'm like, you know what? It's like an expression of art. It's like she like made a mug that she really loves that she got to make through a 3D printer. And like when she like painted it and like worked with it, she was like really proud of that. And she like makes a bunch of stuff that's usually related to like gaming, and like makes like a lot of like cool little trinkets that you can't really buy online, but it's like in relation to gaming. That's like her big passion. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, also, I was like, Dad, fun fact, you know people can print guns with those? He's like, what? I'm like, well, obviously my sister's not doing it, but yeah, like people print ghost guns where they like usually what happens is they're like usually like a one-time use sort of thing. Like usually just due to like usage, they wear down pretty fast and can malfunction pretty heavily. So you don't really get to like keep them forever. They're not really like good enough for that, but you can 3D print them. And he's like, oh my God. And then this happened. And when I talked to my dad just like yesterday, the day before, telling him about this case, he was like, it's happening in real life. I'm like, yeah.
guns are likely 3D printed guns.
That is crazy. How is that very common?
They say if you have enough motive, if you have enough technological knowledge, you can buy a 3D printer and do it. Yeah, that's what a lot of experts are saying, and they're really concerned about what this means. Because there's no way to track those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still wishy-washy how to track regular guns. Ghost guns are even harder.
Yeah.
A lot of firearms experts stated online that watching the footage, this guy's got to be pro.
Okay, my arm is glitchy on my model right now. I need y'all to ignore it though, okay? Yeah. It's because I don't feel like recalibrating. So, that's all. I'm just lazy. Deal with it.
Some of them even state using a silencer in broad daylight. There was a silencer on there. A 3D printed silencer.
Damn, it's actually really bad. I didn't realize how bad it was tweaking. Hold on, I'm just gonna unplug it. All right.
and then casually biking away from the kill, that's some calculated pro level stuff. I mean, look at the precision in the shooting. You don't get that aim without practice or at least being a pro. One expert states, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that this shooter is a professional hitman. It could also be a very determined, very well researched, very practiced individual. One netizen disagrees. Not a pro.
3D printed silencer is something I've never heard of someone doing. I've never heard someone doing that. That's insane.
Hitman, but feels like a hitman. Others argue, well, usually hitmen are like ghosts in the night. You don't see them. You just know that they're there because now somebody's dead.
Oh, hell nah. Did someone say bullets are super regulated, expensive? Shut the fuck up. Bullets are cheap as shit. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I'm gonna tell y'all a story about my fiance, my father-in-law. I'm gonna tell you a story about my father-in-law. My first time meeting my father-in-law, right? Rich's dad. We're having a beautiful dinner together, right? The dinner ends. Him and I are talking about life and stories and just chit-chatting the day away. And he goes, I got the coolest thing at a yard sale the other day, Alicia. I'm gonna go grab it. I go, okay. So I'm just sitting there at the dinner table with everybody else, just waiting for him to come back. He comes back with a sandwich baggie of bullets. Puts it on the table. He goes, I got these for $1 at a garage sale. My mother-in-law, Rich's mom, looks at him with the most horrified look on her face. She goes, you did not just show Alicia that in the first time of her meeting you. You did not just put bullets on my fucking table. And I'm sitting there laughing my ass off. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. I was like, he really just slapped a baggie of bullets on the table. This was the most American shit I've ever seen. And like, and then Rich later on when we were leaving, because I was very anti-gun back in the day. Not so much anymore, but back in the day I was very anti-gun, right? We get back in the car and he's like, honey, I'm so sorry for that. And I look at him and I'm like, I was like, I think your dad might be one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. Because that gave me one of the most biggest like belly laughs I've ever had. It was like the most surreal American experience you could possibly have. So don't you dare tell me that bullets are expensive. You can find motherfuckers selling bullets for cheaper. Just because you're going to a beautiful, luxurious ammunition shop. Oh, you high-class bitch. Yeah, they're probably expensive there. All right? Yeah. Yeah. But they're fucking cheap if you just go to the right places. Because clearly, you can get that shit for $1 in a baggie. Oh. Oh. Man, I can't. I still can't. I love that man so much. He's oh my god.
He was caught on CCTV footage shooting and killing Brian Thompson. You could hardly call that a pro. One comment reads, how could anyone miss at that range? Yeah, it's a good hit, but come on, like a 5-year-old could make that shot. Another person comments, a trained marksman would have walked up within arm's reach and made one kill shot. The main argument by those who do not believe him to be a professional being, I mean, if he in fact is a professional hitman, why would he be caught on CCTV camera? But then others argue, what if that was the point? One comment reads, if there had been no footage of the killing, the media impact and reach would be 50% less. He was both a professional shooter and motivated to hurt the company or something. Regardless, the police reveal that they have a few strong leads that they're going to follow. First, they release a few photos of the suspect, likely the most pertinent one being CCTV photos of him when he pulled his mask down to briefly smile at the front desk employee. A lot of rumors online say that he is smiling at a Starbucks barista who he was flirting with.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but it's actually false. He was perhaps flirting with a hostel worker.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was the Starbucks thing. Okay, that's cool. So like that means he was staying in a hostel and like took his mask down when talking to the worker.
But it's at the hostel that he was staying at prior to the shooting.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. One source states that the receptionist at the front desk asked to see his quote unquote pretty smile, so he briefly pulled down his mask to show. That's
like very common, like in general when checking in at places though. Like to like have to take your mask down for a second.
Worth noting that he did allegedly stop by Starbucks prior to the shooting, but the picture itself is not from there. The police then released...
Well, for those of you guys who don't know what a hostel is, it's basically like the same thing as like, it's not really like a hotel or motel. It's more like a staying facility where usually they have like a bunch of like beds in a one room and stuff and like a shared washroom and stuff like that. It's like a little bit more group based where like individuals kind of just sleep there for the night, have one bag with them type of deal, you know? So usually people like will pull their mask down to show their face when checking in. And then you just kind of sign in. It's not that like, yeah.
Another photo along with that. It is of the suspect in the back of a taxi car after leaving Central Park after the shooting. There's drones flying through the air. Canine dogs are sniffing every leaf-covered planter in Central Park. They've got divers diving into the lakes at Central Park wearing full-on scuba gear. They're going into the lake for 3-4 days, to which netizens have said, let's be honest, would they have done this all for a regular citizen?
They aren't even doing this for the fucking school shooting that just happened. They're putting all their fucking media. The media is fucking dick riding Luigi's situation, and no one's talking about the school shooting that just happened. Like, it's such minimal coverage because children's lives don't matter as much as the CEOs. That's what it comes down to. And that's the sick fucking state of the world we're in right now. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
The answer is no. It would take months for a regular citizen to get any sort of resources used for their case, if ever. It's important to rule out any fish, so the NYPD must go fishing. Not only that, they're sending NYPD officers to Atlanta, New Jersey, Connecticut. It's turning into a full-blown national manhunt. Officers stopped an entire train. They stopped a train dead in its tracks, searched it from top to bottom. Nothing of interest was found. I mean, they searched the entire thing. One NYPD spokesperson said, "We are getting tips. It's helping. We are following up on every tip that's come in." Which, of course, is what should happen in every single murder case, but it never happens unless that same someone is worth $50 million. So it goes without saying, New Yorkers feel like there's enough people looking for the suspect.
I mean, shit, to be honest, do you know how many people die a day in America? Who die from being murdered in America? That we just don't fucking hear about? But hey, you know, a dude's got money. So his life must be more valuable, right? Hell, just in New York? Exactly. Yeah, even just in New York. Just sickening.
It probably felt like the entire force of the NYPD officers is out there, so why should New Yorkers help? They don't get.
But do you know what's great to see? Not only is he screwing the fucking country financially when it comes to their medical shit, do you know what he's also doing? He's also double checking and screwing over the police funding too, because they're sending all these taxpayer dollars out right now on this stupid fucking manhunt. Like, great. Love that.
Paid enough for this. In fact, New Yorkers are out there purchasing the same jacket and the same backpack to the point where both are sold out.
Both sold out?
Crazy.
Netizens right. It's a shame. My healthcare doesn't cover vision because I didn't see Another reads LMAO, so they want us to play cop for free. Yeah, no. Even when the FBI puts up a reward for $50,000 leading to the arrest and conviction of the backpack shooter, and the NYPD is offering up to another $10,000,
fuck no.
Nobody wants to help.
No one does.
Instead, social media comments read, "Do we, the people, have to pay those FBI reward dollars? Why? Besides, can they not just narrow down the suspect? I mean, the police know that the suspect knew that United Health Group was holding an investor conference at the hotel that day. They knew what route Brian Thompson was going to take, which means This could be one of the many disgruntled employees that were laid off for profits, or it could be a customer of United Healthcare.
Yeah. It could just be a disgruntled person upset with United Healthcare. Good luck finding out.
So that suspect list would include almost the entirety of the US population. Millions upon millions of people.
Exactly. Surely not many of those. Luigi Mahone's prosecutors have a jury problem. I've never seen an alleged murderer receive so much sympathy. Oh, this is fucking good. It's gonna be hard for them to get a fucking jury. Good luck. Good luck. Every person knows somebody who has a health issue. Everyone can empathize with what's happening here. Whether they agree or disagree with the loss of human life is one thing, but they can understand him.
But the NYPD want your help. And they say that backpack is going to be a treasure trove of evidence. That backpack, I mean, it could have the murder weapon in the backpack. It could have any other identifying information in the backpack. This is going to be the big break in the case that they so desperately need. And they find the backpack in Central Park. They find it. The NYPD unzipped the backpack.
I'm sorry. He got hit with a terrorism charge? Why is the charge terrorism? Wait, why is he charged with that? That makes zero sense. What? Hold on. Googling. This is gonna be terrible for my search history. Alicia's search history is gonna look like she's insane, but she's doing it anyway. I want you to know, though, I typed in Luigi, it instantly showed up as Luigi's Mansion for me. Thank you. Oh my god. Yeah, thank you for pulling up the art. Thank you for pulling it up for me. Prosecutor used a terrorism law in the charges against him? With an act of terrorism under state law, stiffer sentencing, aimed at terrifying civilians or influencing government. That shouldn't apply to that. This should be first degree. He should be charged with first degree. If this sounds like an unusual application of terrorism law, it's not the first time the state has applied to a case that wasn't a cross-border extremism or plot in mass killing people. Mahone is jailed on other charges in Pennsylvania. They're scheduled to appear in extradition hearing Thursday. A clear way to... What the fuck? This shouldn't count. Under this precedent, it shouldn't count. Wait, okay, if we're gonna use this fucking logic, right? If we're gonna use this fucking logic, hear me out for a second here, right? Under this, under a state law that allows for stiffer sentences when killing is aimed for terrifying civilians or influencing government, why isn't every school shooter charged with terrorism then? Right? That's their point, is to terrify civilians. Their point is to shoot an institution. They're going in there to shoot an institution funded by the government. Right? It's either way. It's either to terrify civilians or it's aimed at a government establishment, which is schooling. Either way, it could work. Oh. Even more insane are using a 9/11 era anti-terrorism law. I think a specific motive needs to be proven. Then what the fuck is all this then? Why did they charge him with this then? Why are they persecuting him with this then? That's my question. What does the law say? Mohn is charged with the first degree and second degree murder counts. That would make sense. Being charged with first degree and second degree, I completely agree with. He should be charged with that. As referred to in New York law that addresses terrorism. Okay. Essentially, it's an add-on to existing criminal statuses. It's an underlying offense constitutes a crime of terrorism if it's done with the intent to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, influencing a policy of a unit government, or intimidation of coercion that affects the conduct of a unit of government by mass murder, assassination, or kidnapping. So they are charging him with first and second, and they're trying to do an add-on for this based off of what their stipulations are. The part that would make it so that they could try to push it for the narrative the only thing that doesn't make sense here is that technically it still doesn't apply by this because in order for the assassination to count, it would still have to be a unit of government by murder, assassination, or kidnapping. But a CEO is not a part of the government. So that still shouldn't be applied. Because if you read this flat out, right, word for word, with the intent to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, he was not trying to do that. Influence the policy of a unit of government by intimidation, wasn't trying to do that, wasn't trying to influence government. Or coercion or affect the conduct of a unit of government by murder, assassination, or kidnapping. He wasn't doing any of that. He was murdering an individual. Right? Now, if the government is willing to publicly say that CEOs are protected as government, then sure. We don't think influencing a possible national healthcare movement isn't political. It shouldn't be, because it's based that. You think your healthcare counts as being a part of your government? One of the largest businesses in the US? No. Just because they have literally manipulated your country doesn't mean that it actually is legally that way. Think about it. Associating the two is one thing. Them acknowledging it is a different thing. Because that means they themselves are acknowledging that the CEO of companies that are large enough, because they monetized your health insurance. To the point where, which obviously all health insurance is monetized, but they've done it to a point where they're grifting you. And if they're willing to say that your private health insurance is now associated with your government, that's not acceptable. And if they're going to say that, they need to acknowledge it overall, because you're going to have a big fucking issue with your government then. The moment you actually say private health insurance is now protected by government laws because they are part of the government, you fucked up. And now your people are going to fucking riot because their tax dollars should be going towards that, and it shouldn't be privatized. But it's privatized, so it shouldn't be protected. I'm sorry, did someone just say that's why we voted for Trump? Wait, what about Trump's policies made you think that he's going to help save your healthcare? What, chatter? What? I'm so lost on that thought process. What made you think that? It was sarcasm, right? You think it was sarcasm? Yeah, I'm gonna just scroll up and see what they said the second time. Let me just see. It probably, you know what? I'm gonna assume that too. It's the corruption that's going to be dealt with. Wait, are they serious now? Wait, I don't think they're kidding. Wait, are you kidding or okay? Just Cake. Are you serious or are you kidding? I can't tell. The world may never know. Ah, okay, because you're clearly kidding. Okay. Personally, I don't give a fuck which way you voted because I'm not American. That's how I personally feel. I know that's a weird way to state my opinion, but it's true. Why would I give a fuck if I can't even vote in your country, right? I might change my mind about that when I become a citizen eventually because I'm marrying American, but for now, I don't really have a political stance to hold weight on. But I do not want to spread misinformation, which is like, motherfucker, what? Trump wants to add more CEOs into the government, literally. Literally. Which is like, you know, that's not even me being like anti-Trump. That's just me stating the facts. So like, you know, just keep an eye out. You know? You know. My only concern is when it comes to sometimes when it comes to Americans, a little bit of my concern is, do you guys care about what happens after the fucking election is over? Do you guys stop tuning in to what Trump is saying now that he's won? I'm just confused a little bit. Because, like, it's one thing to, like, because if you vote him in, but then you don't listen to what he's saying after he won, it's kind of strange. That confuses me. Because, like, you chose him, but then you don't give a shit? So it's like, why did you vote in the first place? That's very confusing. I don't get the, yeah. Yeah, you know, I've fever dream. Alicia's in
They
a fever
pull
dream.
out the first item of interest, a Tommy Hilfiger jacket. They're like, what is that?
Slay!
The backpack was just,
Sitting there, Central Park.
it was left
Yes.
on purpose to be found.
And then they reach in, pull out the next thing, the only other thing really in the backpack of interest, a stack of Monopoly money.
What? Actually, the police, actually, they were trying to, well, it was actually Canadian bills. They, misidentified them. I'm kidding. Holy shit. No, I didn't know he had Monopoly money in his bag. That's fucking sick.
Late 2023, the Department of Justice, the DOJ, launches an antitrust monopoly investigation into United Health Group. They're being investigated for being a monopoly. There are probably a list of 1,069 reasons why the DOJ would probably want to investigate United Health Group, but one of the biggest points of contention being there is a subsidiary of United called Optum. Optum provides health services. They have hospitals, private practices, all across the United States. Meanwhile, United Healthcare is the insurance arm. So now United owns providers, they own the doctors, they have a pharmaceutical division, they have the insurance division. They also recently purchased Change Health, which is the processing claim, like the IT division. That's where doctors go on there to process their claims to get insurance money from United. So they own pretty much everything. It's a vertical monopoly, some would say. It's been said that United owns or is affiliated with about 90,000 physicians, which is about 10% of all doctors in the United States. The DOJ wants to know if United favors its own physician sites, directing or even forcing insurance holders to go there rather than to any other doctor or provider, even if it's better for them, to keep as much money in United's house, circulating between one subsidiary to the other, to the next, to the next. They also have pharmaceutical arms, like I said, the claims processor. United is also the main insurer for Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare plans. But what really kicks off this investigation is United tries to acquire a massive hospice provider for $3.3 billion, and the DOJ is trying to stop them. Like, do they really need another arm in their business?
This hurts, man. This fucking hurts, man. This is so corrupt. This is so corrupt.
Global
man.
scale, United Health Group falls at number 8 in top companies by revenue. On the US scale, like I said, they're number 4 behind Walmart, Amazon, Apple, and then it's United Health Group. They're above Berkshire Hathaway, Exxon, Google, Alphabet, Costco, even JP Morgan Chase. They're above. The Assistant Attorney General states American healthcare is unwell. Unless this $3.3 billion transaction is stopped, United will further extend its grip to health and hospice care, threatening seniors, their families, and nurses.
Oh. All right. So for those of you guys who might be like disillusioned about Canadian healthcare, as someone who's Canadian fighting cancer, I'm going to teach you a little bit about it in my personal experience. So I'm somebody who has insurance and has a drug plan, right? And with that, all my surgeries are paid for by the government, which is great. Surgeries are one of the most expensive parts to deal with. Okay. And that has been fantastic. And one of the things I really appreciate about living in Canada. But the problem is the way they treat women within the healthcare system. And I don't mean like just the negligence. That's a huge issue on its own. My cancer type, because it's in my reproductive system, is not seen as being like as viable as if a man had cancer in his reproductive system. So mine, because I'm choosing not to cut out my uterus, is considered me choosing alternative methods, which is why I have to pay for my cancer medication out of pocket. But if I was a man and I had testicular cancer and I chose to get treatment, they would pay for it. So that's why we also have very dumb things in Canada that the amount that I pay each month for my just to fight cancer is obscene, right? I want to make it very clear though, I'm not struggling money-wise at all, right? I'm very blessed to have a very successful YouTube channel and Patreon and Twitch as well. I'm not in any position where I'm like, I need to e-beg or some shit. I'm fine, right? Like I post enough videos to be totally fine. I'm totally covered each month and I have a surplus. I'm fine. So I'm not trying to like make y'all feel like you need to do, you don't. All right. It's just, that's the thing though, is that any other woman in my position in Canada would be forced to fucking mutilate themselves. They would have to lose their uterus because how the fuck are they supposed to afford that treatment? Like, really think about it. I've been going through this treatment for 2 years. Affording this for 2 years is not... I could buy more than one car. I could buy brand new cars. Probably about 4 brand new cars. The amount of medication I pay for the past 2 years. There's no way. And that's why most women... Even the woman who does my nails, right? Love her, my nail tech. She got a hysterectomy. She had the same cancer I do. She had a hysterectomy because she couldn't afford to choose the other option. And she never got to have kids. And her and I cried hugging each other one day. And I will go to her for my nails for the rest of my life. And I love her to death. She's so great. And she's like, yeah, so like now my nieces and nephews I treat as my kids because I just can't have them. And like, yeah, she could adopt and she could do all those other things, but she chooses not to now because she's getting older and she's just choosing to take care of her sister's kids more often. But she didn't get to even have the option that she wanted because she wanted to be a mom. You know? And like, you think about shit like that and it's like, think about the claims that people go through is like, you know, and then there's like this talk a lot about like women's reproductive rights. And I'm like, reproductive rights are more than what you just think. They're not just about abortion, right? People often think reproductive rights are just about that. It's not. Reproductive rights is also about getting the same level of care that men do towards their reproductive organs. And there's a double standard for that. And it sucks because people make it about like, about external factors, about abortion. And I'm like, dude, that is one part of it. And yes, it's a major part of the conversation, but it's not the only part of the conversation. And that fucking sucks because there's just a lack of discussion about it because talking about those things aren't as clickbaity, right? They aren't as controversial because I think everyone here can agree that they don't want women to mutilate themselves when men don't have to. That's not like a topical thing to say, right? Thanks for sharing this. They don't talk about this kind of stuff in RN school. Yeah, I mean, like, one thing that you'll realize when, like, especially when you become a nurse, like, and like, is you'll face this in your day to day, is the level of treatment that women get within like hospitals is very different, and it's bizarre and outdated. The one thing that's a positive is that like I felt a lot more connection to some of the nurses I worked, like who worked on me and worked like alongside myself. I didn't work as a nurse. I said that wording wrong, but the ones who worked on my case was that a lot of them have seen scenarios like mine, which helped comfort me a lot through the scenario. That's an uncomfortable and terrible scenario to be in. And it's one of those things that they weren't even aware of until they got in the situation, you know? So, but seeing those cases make it like a little bit more comforting to the person, knowing that I'm not the only one like going through shit like that, which is terrible. Because it's also like, you know, it's also a lot. It's also like, fuck, man. My bad for like having a fucking pussy. How dare I? Like, what the hell is that? Women reproductive organs are way more important than male. I think both reproductive organs are fucking important. I feel like everybody has a right to their own organs. It just sucks that there's a double standard to that, you know? And it's like, why are we treating a man's like testicles and penis as being more valuable than a woman's uterus? And that's what's heartbreaking, right? And it's like, yeah, we all deserve the right to our organs, like, and they should be covered the same way equally. That's what real equality is. Real equality is just making sure that it's fucking equal care. That's all. I mean, one step even more graphic was that, like, I have like scarring, like scar tissue from when I was assaulted in 2018 that I couldn't get surgically repaired because it was considered a cosmetic surgery to fix that. And I couldn't afford it for years until I became a YouTuber. So it's like that even you can't get done. So like they don't help women who are assaulted. But if a man gets assaulted though, which also is terrible, by the way, men being assaulted is a real thing. Don't fucking make it a lowercase. And their penis is injured or their testicles are injured, that gets fixed as well. But for us, the damage is cosmetic because it's not a necessary thing to do, is what is considered. This was in Canada, yes. And because mine wasn't a threatening scenario, right? The damage that I faced with scar tissue was not threatening, but it only became a problem when like, oh, I have cancer that can affect the scar tissue. It could spread more, right? And that's what it came down to, which is why my cancer is more embedded into my muscle and why it's like more in a very weird like situation where rather than having like just one large mass and then its continuous growth, I had one large mass and then 3 other spots of growth due to my scarring. But it all is fixed now, which is why I had so many surgeries done because I did resections. We had regrowth, got a resection again. Then we had the like inner part fixed that I couldn't get fixed since 2018, right? I waited so long, right? And that's the reason why it's like, even though I'm having like a lot of health issues, by the way, my health has been fantastic. We are improving massively, right? And during that time where my health declined, like, and I got cancer and I was misdiagnosed, like I gained so much weight, an insanely high amount of weight. I gained 120 pounds. And I was telling my doctors and I was telling everybody, I need help. I'm keeping a food journal. I'm keeping an exercise journal. Something's wrong with me. And then I was being gaslit by the healthcare system where they like everyone was telling me like, oh, you're just eating bad. Oh, you're not eating healthy. Oh, like you're doing this, you're doing that. Have you tried exercising? I'm like, I do all, this is my journal. I'm doing this, right? And all of it could have been solved if they just did a biopsy. Because what was happening is my cancer being in my uterus caused such a massive hormone imbalance that it was causing me to gain massive amounts of weight rapidly, right? And that's why when I started going through like my treatment, my cancer treatment, I dropped in 1 year, right? I dropped 65 pounds, then an extra 5 pounds, so like 70 pounds in the first year of treatment alone, right? And it's like, fuck, man, I didn't change anything that much. I'm actually moving less because I'm going through cancer treatment. It was never about me. It was just that no one took my health seriously enough. And no one wanted to biopsy me because I'm too young to have cancer was the common like mentality. So people were too lazy to biopsy me. And that sucks. And then you think about that and you think about all the people in this situation who are in America right now I have to go through their insurance companies. Even then, they try to make me pay for my own ambulance the day that I almost died. In 2020, end of 2022, when I lost over half the blood in my body. They try to make me pay for that ambulance. When in Canada, your ambulance is supposed to be covered if you're dying, if it's an emergency. But they try to make me pay for it, and I had to go like through their fucking portal and be like, hey, this is a scenario. I was fucking dying. Why did you say it was non-emergency? Right? And it's like it's not all sunshine and rainbows just because I'm in Canada. It's not. Right? But the scarier part is the way that private insurance companies have shifted in the US is 30 times scarier than what I'm going through in Canada. Now, if you think what I went through is a horror story, think about what's happening currently to the people in the US. If I went through the same scenario in the US, there's no way I could afford like existing. That would have been an unbearable thing because I'd have to pay for all my surgeries. I had 6 surgeries. I have to pay for 6 surgeries? There's no way. Even with how well I'm doing on YouTube, there's no way I could afford that. Oh, you have PCOS? Yeah, PCOS sucks. For those of you guys wondering what that is, it's a polycystic ovary syndrome, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's like, that shit sucks. Yeah. You probably on the anemic squad, right? Probably get like a lot of blood loss and shit. Yeah, there's just fucking blows to deal with too. That's what they originally thought I had when I first got diagnosed. And then they just misdiagnosed me because I had cancer. But, I mean, just got diagnosed. The best part about it is that they can just do an ultrasound and pretty much find it if you have it when it comes to polycystic ovary syndrome. So it's like, they just pretty much put you on birth control to help like regulate your hormones more. Because you're like you're overproducing hormones, you're shedding your uterine lining for way too long, so you're becoming anemic. And they just slap you with a bunch of fucking birth control and say, let's get it, bitch. Which actually does help a lot of people with PCOS. So I hope that works for you. I hope that plan works for you. But some people are totally misinformed about birth control. It's not just about preventing pregnancy. It also changes a lot of hormonal balances, which can help situations like that too. One thing, though, to the person with PCOS in chat, not to be giving you medical advice, but also just to be a homie and like, you know, bitch, who cares? If they put you on one form of birth control to help with it, and you still find yourself bleeding a lot, tell them. And tell them to take you to a higher form of birth control. Like get like if you're taking like the tabs, and you're like, no, put me on the patch. That's not working. Put me on the injection. Like just do whatever it takes to make sure you're not bleeding as much and it's like managed for you. So just a heads up. Do not feel like you have to live with like whatever standard they give you. There's ways to like increase your treatment if it's not working. And I don't know if they talk to you about that, but there is. So looking out for you, bestie. Thrive. Okay.
As of right
I
now,
care
the
about your
DOJ is
reproductive
still
rights.
investigating United for antitrust concerns. And interestingly, a lot of people did not even know that they were being investigated until this happened, until they found the monopoly money. Even more interesting is that Brian Thompson is not only the CEO of United Healthcare, that is obviously being investigated by the DOJ, but he is named in another class action lawsuit filed alleging that Brian Thompson knew that the DOJ was going to investigate United Health Group, and before that information was made public, because this is a publicly traded company, he allegedly sold over $15 million of his personally held United Health Group shares.
He dumped with insider knowledge? Holy shit! Holy fuck! That's insane! Fuck this guy! Haktua crime on that thing! Holy shit. I'm commonly given advice for PCOS, but I've heard multiple accounts of some women having improvements in their condition strictly by reducing their sugar intake. When it comes to that, it's the reason why it can help if you reduce your sugar intake is because people who have PCOS can sometimes have things like hyperinsulinemia, right, or a metabolic issue. which estrogen is stored in fat cells. So what happens is that the correlation of reducing your estrogen would be to help your PCOS, because like PCOS can help increase estrogen as well as androgen hormones, would be to like have a healthier diet that like reduces sugar and that reduces like fat, like fat building on your body for fat cells. So yeah, it's kind of, yeah, cutting sugar can help that for sure, because like getting your blood work checked and seeing what your like base level is for your insulin can help a lot with like how you're producing that. Because again, remember, your endocrine system is one of the hugest things for hormone balancing, right? So it's like oranges for cancer guy. Yeah, there's a guy who told me to take oranges to cure my cancer way back in the day, and it's become a huge meme in our community for years now. He sent me also a self-help video of this bald guy telling me to cure my cancer through meditation. Same person did that, which is great. But yeah. Checking your sugar intake helps in general. True. Yeah. So just like understanding that like a reduction in like fat cells can help a lot when like dealing with estrogen problems in general too. Yeah. I think that motherfucker really thought that I had scurvy. I think he mixed up cancer with scurvy. Yeah, do you think cancer with scurvy or something? Exactly. Dude, exactly, Zep. Exactly.
Insider trading is the allegation, which had he not sold the shares and allegedly partaken in this alleged insider trading, he would have likely lost about $800,000 in shareholder value, which, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money. But Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, the insurance swing, he makes about $10 million a year in total comp.
Oh my God. You know, remember I told you guys in a different video that like I taught my niece like how much things are valued based on Happy Meals. I was like, yeah, I could buy you this toy, but I could buy you 7 Happy Meals for the price of this toy. She doesn't fully understand the value of money yet, right? So you try to do like correlation for them to understand how much something costs, right? And the value of money. Me trying to explain $10 million to my niece would be the funniest shit in the world. All right, how many Happy Meals is 10 million, huh? God damn it.
So that's his salary, bonuses, as well as stock options. Most of it actually comes from stock, 6 million or so to be exact. Regardless, his total comp is about 8 figures a year. Again, I'm not saying he was committing insider trading or that $800,000 was the reason he sold his shares. I'm just saying. I'm not saying anything is what I'm saying. But I will say, the way mainstream media
I love her.
outlets have
She's
described
great.
his insider trading allegation is fascinating. One outlet writes, Thompson found himself named in a class action lawsuit alleging insider trading. The lawsuit claimed he and other executives sold millions in stocks while withholding information about a DOJ investigation into United Health's business practices. Despite these legal battles, Thompson remained steadfast in his commitment to steering the company towards innovation and growth. His ability to lead during times of turbulence earned him respect from industry peers.
Motherfucker, put this shit and say it for me. Take out the word lawsuit, change it with cancer. Oh, during this turbulent time, she earned respect for the way she spearheads her bullshit. Fuck this motherfucker, man. Fuck you. The lawsuit is your own fucking problem. That has nothing to do with it. No one should be respecting you. You insider trading bitch.
Peers.
That's an interesting way to look at this.
I mean, should we start doing that to every alleged criminal? It's fascinating. That is the way mainstream media has spoken about Brian Thompson and his alleged crimes, and ultimately
The way they're fucking dick sucking this man off. Holy
his
shit.
death. The sentiment cannot be shared with social media users. On Spotify, you can create these oddly specific playlists. Like there's one titled, The Masculine Urge to Stand Outside All Alone in the Snow. Another one is, Songs That Make Me Feel Like I'm Slowly Drowning in a Bathtub in a Dimly Lit Room. Another one reads, When the Zombie Apocalypse Finally Happens but You Make No Effort to Survive. Or a recently created one, oddly specific. POV, taken out a CEO. The thumbnail is the picture of the suspect smiling, and there are 71 songs on there. The list of songs include Welcome to New York by Taylor Swift, Angel with
the shotgun! I'm an angel with a shotgun, fighting till the war's won. I don't think heaven's gonna take me back. Throw away the key, babe, just to keep you safe. Holy fuck. No, this is not his own playlist, by the way. This is not his own playlist. This is made by a random fucking human who made a Spotify playlist called POV Taking Out a CEO. Just a heads up. This is not his own playlist. Look at the fucking, you think he made this cover art of himself? Oh my god! The Les Mis soundtrack. Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? They got hit.
the shotgun.
Jesus
Do you hear the people
Christ.
sing Trouble's Coming and My Shot? Over 10,000 users saved it and are bopping to songs about the CEO assassin, as some have dubbed the suspect. That's what they're calling him. I mean, is this a normal reaction? I guess that's the debate here.
Alicia, I direct you to your own thumbnails. Bitch, I do not use enough glitter in my thumbnails, and I should. I should use more glitter in my thumbnails. I'm rebranding. I'm gonna start using. You remember that text that was really popular on, what's it, Pixo Chat? Pixo Art? What was that website builder people used back in the day? And it was like that really like shiny, glittery text that like was like a GIF. And it's just fucking, yeah. Yeah, I need to start using that shit in my thumbnails.
Others
No, not MySpace. MySpace was at the same, was it Picto Art? I forget what it was called. It was the one that you would make websites on. You like make your own custom website back in the day. But I also had a MySpace. My MySpace was lit though. My MySpace automatically played My Chemical Romance. Why? Because I'm a bad bitch. Oh, Pixar Chat was on the DS. Okay, that's totally wrong then. I forgot what it was called though, the site. Skyblog? No, I don't remember. It was something with a P, but I don't remember what it was. It wasn't Wix. It was something with a P. I don't remember. This would have been back in about 2000, maybe 2005 is when I did this. I aged myself so much by saying that, and I need you not to judge me. Because I now realize that's 20 years ago. And I no longer wish to exist. I'm going to hit play.
are taking to Twitter to post pictures, zoomed in, and cleaned up images. Like, you know, in those movies that like zoom in, the FBI's like, clear up the picture, unblur it. And it's the suspect when he briefly takes off his mask.
Pixel? Is that what it's called? Pixel websites. That's what it was called. That's, yeah! Yeah! You came in clutch. Thank you.
And when you see this clarified HD photo, it is so clear that the suspect is Mr. Beast, Nancy Pelosi, Ben Shapiro, the cat from Sabrina and the Teenage Witch. They're just photoshopping faces onto the assassin's
You're
photos.
saying memes. People are making memes.
So many memes. Another viral tweet just reads, just left an anonymous tip and reported Amy Schumer for shooting that United Healthcare CEO. Or simply, thoughts and deductibles, praying hands emoji.
Oh, thoughts and deductibles.
I would say, after digging through the depths of Twitter and TikTok and Reddit, 70 to 80%, if not more, of the interactions on this case lie somewhere between, haha, this is great, to, not great, but I'm not going to cry about it either. Also, that meme is kind of funny. That's where I would say 70 to 80% of the reactions lie, while the others are upset that the public is condoning violence and wants netizens to take a really good hard look at the fact that he is a husband and a father.
Ex-husband. Sorry. Jumping in there with that real quick. Don't mind me. Okay. But to be fair, again, I think it's completely valid if you're somebody who is like sad over the loss of life and like you think it's barbaric that people are like happy over someone's death. That's a fine opinion to have. And I want to be clear on that. I don't share that opinion with you, but that's okay. I'm going to agree to disagree on this one. Then you're fine to think that. All right. I want to make sure you feel like you can exist with your own moral balance. I personally, though, am not on that same page, as you can tell by this video.
Brian's wife, I believe they're separated. Like, I don't know if they're estranged, but I don't think that they were living together. She gives a statement that says, "We are shattered to hear about the senseless killing of our beloved Brian. Brian was an incredibly generous, loving, talented man who truly lived life to the fullest and touched so many lives. Most importantly, Brian was an incredibly loving father."
So one of my moderators goes, I mean, I wish change could come another way, and just wish they could talk it out, but the world isn't like that. I mean, the thing I would say that's really important is to reflect on the number we talked about previously. He made in 2023, the insurance company, billions of more dollars in 1 year due to them changing how insurance covers things by making it more stringent and letting people die. Right? So it's like, this is not somebody who can be reasoned with because they don't value human life. They only value their own. Right? And that's what that's where, like, just in general. Oh, you mean just like in general, you wish people could talk things out more? Yeah. Like, that's like a fair thing to be like, wish that people could talk more, for sure.
Father to our 2 sons and will be greatly missed. That said, someone on Twitter creates an account called The Ghost of Brian Thompson and is just going around commenting on people's nightmare United Healthcare experiences. One tweet reads, "I had a stroke and United Healthcare moved me from the top stroke center in the state to another hospital because the ER I went to was out of network. My doctor made them wait until I was out of the ICU. They refused to cover the ambulance they made me take to the other hospital." The Ghost of Brian Thompson responds. That's the Twitter account name. "It's
Okay.
not United's fault that you had a stroke. You made the life choices that got you where you are. Merry Christmas."
That Twitter account is troll as fuck.
Netizens are commenting things like, "This is getting more coverage than what United Healthcare has ever provided." Sending prior authorization, denied claims, collections, and prayers to his family. People also comment, "Was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an actual emergency, and we were out the full deductible, so I'm just saying." Other
that has the same energy as me being like, is the ambulance really need to be covered? Is it covered in this situation? I'm not sure. Is he dying? Are we really sure? Have we asked him?
Others say, "I can't even pretend to care. I hope he's looking up at us." Another comment reads, "Will his family still be billed? Did the ER wait to render care until they confirmed his coverage?
That's what I was fucking joking about.
I'm not certain the hospital was medically necessary. Did he try his primary care physician first after
Yes! Spit, netizens, spit!
getting
We
shot?
love it!
Was the hospital in network? Did he really need to go to the ER?
By the way, for those of you guys who might not be like super terminally online like I am, netizen is like an internet citizen. It's like anyone who uses the internet and just like uses it openly. Rather than saying like they're an American or Canadian, you say netizen is like they're just an online user.
Why didn't he try urgent care first? To which one netizen finally puts their foot down and responds to the comments writing, "Why would you awful people say such awful things that restore my faith in humanity?" I also argue, besides, he wasn't assassinated. His claim to life was just denied.
Oh! His claim to life was just denied.
Other netizens were more focused on the monopoly money and how the suspect is toying with the police. They wrote, "Bro is really out here being Robin Hood and trolling the FBI. LOL." He said, "You guys are playing checkers and I'm playing Monopoly." Others point out how this is not really funny because someone out there is actually having a really bad day. They write, "Someone somewhere has a box with a Monopoly board and is going to sit down and play one day and wonder where all the damn money went." That is the only victim in this story. Many
This
legacy
would have been the perfect time for my Monopoly Go sponsor to be on. It's not on right now. We don't have a Monopoly Go sponsor right now. That's fucking suck. Man, imagine though. Imagine if my Monopoly Go sponsor was going on right now and I used this shit to capitalize off it. Man.
media outlets have argued that the surge of social media posts, quote, glorifying the shooting is alarming. One argues, the framing of this incident as some opening blow in a class war and not a brutal murder is especially alarming. But netizens are not having it. They're writing, trying to convince me that the CEO shooter is a danger to anybody else is the biggest corporate media joke of the week. One netizen pushes back on the mainstream media's strong interest in the case, writing, the real news isn't the murder of the United Healthcare CEO. It's how many Americans don't care and are actively celebrating his death, okay?
That should be the news story though. Like, it is kind of crazy.
They also write that about 65,000 people in the United States die per year because they're not covered by insurance or they're underinsured. 65,000. Mainstream media news anchors have been replaying people's TikToks of them saying things like, I'm not sad about it. And
I do want to say an injustice in the world right now. I'll say it right now. The real injustice is I don't have fan cams made of me, but he got fan cams made of him, man. This is why we need to get my model a gun, because clearly I will get fan cams.
they're expressing disgust. They're commenting, joking about somebody's murder like that is absolutely disgusting. A family is grieving right now. To which netizens have responded, you're right, it would have been better if the CEO lived and was subsequently denied care for his injuries by his healthcare provider. That would have been real justice. Another netizen writes, people have been so happy on here for the past few days. I think it might be the first time United Healthcare has ever helped with mental health. One of the main reasons that people are so upset with United Healthcare is, if you want to look at it this way, this is legally, I don't know if I can say this is what they do. This is what it feels like they do. Feels, that's a opinion.
Okay.
You pay them to insure you for healthcare, to insure you for life-saving treatments should it come to it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you don't even give them your money by choice. Because I do see some international netizens wondering, wait, if everyone in America hates United Healthcare, why are they still in business? Why are you guys using United Healthcare? There really is no market for insurance. A lot of times it's what's offered to you at work. Corporate healthcare plans are sometimes cheaper with United Healthcare. Employers will go with United because they are looking out for themselves rather than their employees. Yep. So now so many Americans are stuck with United Healthcare because they have no choice. And even though they had no choice, they still have to pay United Healthcare massive premiums every single month, hundreds of dollars, if not more, depending on who you are and if you have any conditions. And then once they finally go to the doctor to get the care that they need, they file a claim to United saying, hey, remember how I pay you so much money, probably more money than I spend on groceries every month. Yeah, well, this is why. Remember? Please pay the
Oh, actually, there's one quick thing I want to say about one good thing about Canadian healthcare. My sister got into a car accident yesterday, and she's fine, right? But she got a concussion. So when she went to the hospital, they checked her, it was all covered, which was amazing. So at least there's some things that, like, I'll be thankful for. But yeah, her car's fucked. They T-boned her. They completely fucked up her passenger side. So, but she's okay. I texted her a $200 Uber Eats gift card, and I was like, don't you dare cook or leave your place. Rest and order food. If I hear you've left your condo, I'm gonna be pissed. Just relax. So she should be chilling and unplugged. So yeah, no screens or anything for her. And we were gonna have a party. We're gonna have for my staff. We like host Christmas parties. So we already did one staff Christmas party for everybody. Then we're doing another one for all their kids because a lot of my staff have like children and stuff. So we were gonna do like a kids party for them on Sunday, just tomorrow, day after tomorrow, whatever. And like we probably have to cancel it realistically because like one, my parents are sick and we don't want to get any of the kids sick because that would be terrible for them. But two, like my sister has a concussion and I don't want her to feel like she missed out on anything either because I know how much she like loves like taking care of people and stuff. And like I was like, I can run the party solo if you want me to. I'm more than happy to do that. But it's also like oh, my parents are sick. They're in the house. You don't want any of them getting sick. And my dad was going to dress up as Santa. And my dad dark as hell, by the way. My dad dark as hell. My dad's not even, he don't got an ounce of like, nothing. He dark as hell, okay? He melanated ass man. And he was going to be Santa. So I got him gloves and a Santa suit. And we got the fake beard and the fake hair and everything. And then we got him extra glasses to like cover up as much skin as we could. And I kind of want to show a picture of it, but I shouldn't show my dad's face online, but it's so fucking good. I actually sent it to Taka. And it's so cute because my dad, like, you know, my dad and I always be playing. Like, him and I are just like best friends, right? So I was like, Dad, where the hoes at? And he goes, ho, ho. He points at me, points at my mom, and he goes, everywhere's hoes. I'm like, my 67-year-old dad called me a hoe. And my mama. What? While dressed in a Santa suit. Yeah. Anyways, a little positive note there. This video is already 2 hours long, so I'm gonna cut it here and then do a part 2 or a part 3. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. We're gonna end this as part 1. And thanks for watching. I hope you're having fun as well as rage alongside me, because yep, that's what we do here. We'll catch you later. Thanks for your love and support always. Check out the original video, link to the description below. There will be another part to this. I don't know if there'll be 2 more parts or just 1 more part. I pause and talk a lot because this is a commentary channel, not just a sit here and drool out of my mouth channel. So we'll see. Anyways, we'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.